everybody. So today we are going to make cast iron pizza. I have found that the cast iron makes great crust. It makes it nice and crispy. It is just our favorite go-to pizza when we're making pizzas at home. So stay tuned, you're going to love it. All right, so these are our ingredients for the crust. I got a cup and a half of water, 4 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, a packet of yeast, and 1/4 cup of oil. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure this is warm water, and we are going to add our yeast, and we're going to add our sugar, and then we are going to mix that up and wait probably about 5 minutes until our yeast starts to activate. So I got a little bit ahead of myself. I wasn't supposed to add the sugar yet. I was supposed to wait until the yeast activates. And when you're doing your homemade pizza crust, you want to start it at least an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes beforehand, because you're going to want the pizza dough to raise for at least an hour before you start rolling it out. Okay, you can see that the yeast is activated. It's nice and foamy. It's got a good, it's really nice actually, nice and foamy. It's ready for the next step. So let's add the salt. And I'm going to find me a whisk. All right, so we got that. I got my whisk. I got my salt added. Now I'm gonna add my oil. This is olive oil. Now I'm going to stir in the flour until it's really sticky. And eventually it'll get to where you can't really use the whisk. You're gonna have to use a spoon. And like I said, you want to start this ahead of time. That way you have time to let it rise. Because once we get it all together, it'll rise for an hour. All right, you can see it's starting to get pretty thick. We're getting to the point where we're gonna have to use a spoon. Try to get all that dough out. Okay, so I'm at the point where I'm using my hand to do the dough, but it is still a little dry. So I'm adding just a touch of water, and I'm going to continue kneading it. That's working it good. So now I'm going to add the rest of my flour and continue kneading it until I get the texture that I need. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I got my dough the way I want it. I'm gonna place it here, and I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil over the top of it. And then I'm just gonna roll it around so it gets nice and oily everywhere. So that way, as it just makes it easier for it to rise when it's not sticking to anything. So I'm just gonna put a towel over this, and I'm gonna let it rise for at least an hour. So I'm going to show you how I do the ingredients for the toppings for my pizza. So I got me some sausage here, and I'm going to start cooking my sausage. Once it's almost done, I'll add some mushrooms, onion, pepperoni, and some bell pepper and bacon. And if you're wondering how the dough is doing, there is my dough. It has lifted really big. I probably should have gone with a bigger bowl. Alright, so the sausage is almost done. I'm going to add about half the mushrooms. Then add about half the onions. I got some mixed bell peppers here. I'm going to add those. I'm just going to let this cook. Okay, so here is my dough. We're going to punch that down. Ooh, and you know what? I almost forgot. You want to put oil on your hands. That will help the dough from sticking to your hands and getting it everywhere. So now I got oil on my hands. I'm gonna push that down just a little bit. Now, we're gonna put this in there and we're gonna spread it out. This is my big old cast iron. And pressing out the dough is not Alright, so I got my bell peppers and onion and mushrooms and everything cooking here. Now I'm going to add my pepperoni. So I added my pepperoni and my bacon, and you're probably thinking, wait a second, that's like so not the right way to do it. Well, I like doing it this way because pepperoni gets really greasy, and I'm able to strain the grease off of all of this when I'm done. So when I cook my pizza, I don't have such a greasy pizza. Alright, so I pre-cooked my crust just a little bit. So this is where the fun begins. So I got my pizza sauce. I'm just gonna pour some on here and spread it around. I like to get mine as close to the edges as I can. All right, now I take my Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna sprinkle my Parmesan cheese on there. Now this is something my husband loves. It's called Zap Pack. Don't know what's in it, but we always sprinkle a little bit of it on there. All right, so now that we got all that done, now we're just gonna take our ingredients that we cooked a few minutes ago, and we're just gonna sprinkle them onto the pizza. I have this cheese that we are going to use, and they're just little round pearls. All right, so now we're going to take these and just start spreading them around. You can use shredded mozzarella also. You can use actually any kind of mozzarella you want. All right, so here's the pizza. It is done. So I am going to cut a piece out and let you check it out. So there is a slice missing. Here it is. Looks very good. And the crust is nice and thick. And you can see it's golden brown. It's gonna be great. I hope you get the opportunity to try this cast iron homemade pizza. It's done a little bit different than maybe what everyone else does, but it is a family favorite at my house. So if you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I would love for you to subscribe to my page. That way, whenever I post other videos, you'll be notified. Have a great day. So I had a little bit of crust left over, so I'm gonna make a cheese pizza. So I'm gonna start with my sauce, and I'm gonna spread it out. There we go. And this will be a nice little pizza for my daughter who likes things like this. So, all right, so I got that spread. Now I'm going to do the Parmesan cheese just like before. And I'm going to do our Little Caesars Zap Pack. Add a little extra flavor. All right, and now I will open another bag of cheese pearls to put on the pizza. All right, now I'm gonna put this in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes and we'll have a cheese pizza. All right, so here is our cheese pizza. It is all done. It is going to be yummy.